Imagine holding a coin so small, so ordinary, yet inside it lies the chance of becoming a millionaire overnight. A coin that slips through your fingers every day, resting quietly in change jars, pockets, and drawers. But if you find the right one, it could bring you millions. This isn't a myth or just a collector's fantasy. This is the reality of the 1981 Lincoln cent, a coin that many see as simple but numismatists and treasure hunters know carries secrets worth fortunes. Every penny tells a story, but this one has tales of hidden varieties, rare mint errors, and astonishing auction prices that turn an everyday coin into a life-changing discovery. The Lincoln cent of 1981 is more than just a piece of copper. It represents one of the final years before the U.S. Mint made a major shift in how pennies were produced. Until 1982, cents were struck primarily in copper, making the 1981 penny one of the last full copper issues before zinc became the standard. For coin collectors, this detail alone gives the 1981 Lincoln cent historical importance. When a coin carries the weight of being part of the end of an era, its desirability among collectors increases, and that is where the value begins to climb. Produced in massive numbers, the 1981 penny exists in three main versions: those struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark, those struck in Denver with the D mint mark, and those from San Francisco bearing the S mint mark. The San Francisco coins were primarily proof issues made for collectors, and it is among these proofs where the story becomes even more interesting. The 1981 S proof cents were struck with two distinct types of mint marks, known as Type 1 and Type 2. The Type 2 S mint mark is far scarcer and commands significant premiums in the market. For collectors, this single variation can mean the difference between a penny worth face value and one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Beyond mint marks, the true thrill lies in error coins. The 1981 Lincoln cent, like many coins of its era, is known for errors that collectors eagerly chase: doubled dies, off-center strikes, and striking mistakes that turn ordinary cents into extraordinary rarities. For instance, some 1981 pennies show doubling in the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." These doubled die varieties can dramatically increase a coin's value depending on how bold the doubling is and how visible it appears to the naked eye. A collector spotting such details can suddenly turn a penny worth 1 cent into a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Condition also plays a critical role in the story of the 1981 cent. The difference between a coin that circulated in daily life and one that remained untouched in mint condition is staggering. A 1981 penny fresh from the mint, perfectly struck, and preserved without scratches or wear is highly desirable. Grading services like PCGS and NGC often assign these top-tier coins a grade of MS67 or higher, and in such conditions, their values rise exponentially. It's not uncommon for such pristine coins to fetch prices in the hundreds or even thousands at auctions, proving that a tiny piece of copper can indeed be worth a fortune. The copper composition itself adds another layer of interest. Unlike today's zinc-based cents, the 1981 penny is made of 95% copper. With copper's value fluctuating, many collectors and metal enthusiasts see older pennies as miniature copper bullion. While it's currently illegal to melt down U.S. pennies for their metal content, the knowledge that the coin is intrinsically more valuable than its face value only fuels demand. This intrinsic worth adds another layer of mystique to the coin and elevates its importance in a collector's eyes. Auction history tells powerful stories about the 1981 Lincoln cent's potential. Coins with rare errors or in extraordinary condition have crossed auction blocks and stunned collectors with hammer prices far beyond expectations. Some of these coins, enhanced by their copper shine and rarity, have sold for amounts that would leave anyone amazed. While not every 1981 penny is worth millions, the possibility exists when a rare error variety meets pristine condition. The thought of turning pocket change into a life-altering sum is precisely what keeps collectors searching, and why stories of valuable pennies capture the imagination of millions. The 1981 proof cents, particularly the Type 2S, remain a highlight in this story. Numismatists consider them a must-have for complete Lincoln cent collections. These proofs, struck with mirror-like fields and razor-sharp details, showcase the craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint at its peak. When graded as PR70, the highest possible proof grade, they become museum-quality pieces. In this grade, even a single penny can leap into the thousands, showing how perfection transforms something common into something legendary. For the average person, the idea that a single coin lying unnoticed in a jar could hold such value may sound unbelievable. Yet time and time again, examples surface of ordinary people stumbling upon rare coins in everyday life. A child sorting through spare change, a collector checking rolls from the bank, or someone inheriting a box of old coins from a relative, all have the chance to uncover a 1981 cent that could change everything. The thrill lies in the hunt, in the moment when you realize the coin you're holding is not just a penny, but a key to wealth and history. Collectors worldwide obsess over details that most people never notice. The shape of a mint mark, the angle of doubling, the crispness of the strike, each tiny difference can mean thousands of dollars. This obsession is what fuels the market and why coins like the 1981 Lincoln cent remain forever in demand. Its role as one of the last copper issues, its varieties, its errors, and its condition-based value all combine to make it one of the most fascinating pennies of the late 20th century. In the end, the 1981 Lincoln cent is more than just money. It's a time capsule of American history, a piece of art, and a potential ticket to fortune. For collectors, it embodies the thrill of the hunt and the dream of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. For the average person, it's a reminder that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value if you look closely enough. So the next time you see a penny dated 1981, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Look closer because hidden within its copper surface might be the opportunity of a lifetime. A coin capable of turning spare change into millions. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand, a coin most people ignore, toss into a jar, or drop without care. Now, imagine discovering that this very coin, a 1982 Lincoln cent, could be worth thousands, even millions of dollars, depending on its condition, rarity, and specific variety. That is the hidden power of the Lincoln 1982 penny, a coin that appears ordinary to the naked eye but holds secrets that could change the life of a collector. In the next few minutes, you will discover why this single year, 1982, has become one of the most fascinating and valuable chapters in U.S. coinage history, and why collectors across the world are still searching for the rare gems hidden among billions of common cents. The story of the 1982 Lincoln cent is unlike any other because it marks a major turning point in American coin history. For more than 2 decades, from 1959 through 1981, pennies were made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But by the early 1980s, copper prices began to soar, and the cost of producing each penny became higher than its face value. The U.S. Mint faced a problem. Making 1-cent coins out of copper was no longer economically sustainable. The solution came in 1982 when the Mint decided to switch the composition of the penny to a copper-plated zinc core, drastically reducing production costs. But the transition didn't happen overnight, and this is where the 1982 penny became legendary. Instead of a clean break, the Mint produced both copper pennies and zinc pennies in 1982. This means that within that single year there are multiple varieties of the Lincoln cent, some made of the old copper composition and others made of the new zinc composition. In fact, 1982 produced more varieties of the Lincoln cent than almost any other year. There are a total of 7 recognized varieties, each with subtle differences that collectors carefully examine. These include large date and small date designs for both copper and zinc versions. That complexity has made the 1982 penny one of the most studied and desirable coins in American numismatics. The key to unlocking the value of a 1982 penny is understanding which variety you hold. The 2 primary differences are the metal composition and the date style. The copper cents weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc cents weigh just 2.5 grams. This weight difference makes it possible to distinguish the two with a simple scale. Collectors often use this method to quickly check which composition they have, because copper pennies generally carry more value than zinc ones. Then comes the date style. Some 1982 pennies feature a large date, with bolder, thicker numerals, while others feature a small date, with a more delicate and refined design. The small date versions are particularly sought after by collectors, especially when they appear in copper. One of the most famous rarities in the 1982 penny family is the 1982 D small date copper cent. This coin is considered extremely rare and valuable, with only a handful confirmed to exist. Because the Denver Mint was supposed to switch entirely to zinc composition that year, the presence of a small date copper variety is seen as a remarkable minting error, making it one of the holy grails for penny collectors. Some of these coins have been sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and experts believe that undiscovered examples may still be circulating in jars, drawers, or change piles today. The possibility of finding such a treasure keeps collectors endlessly fascinated with the 1982 penny. But it's not only the rare small date copper coins that hold value. Even common 1982 pennies can be worth far more than their face value in the right condition. High-grade examples, certified by professional grading services, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors look for coins that have sharp details, original luster, and minimal wear. A pristine 1982 penny, whether copper or zinc, can turn what seems like pocket change into a serious investment. This is why every coin hunter, from beginners to seasoned numismatists, pays close attention to 1982 Lincoln cents when searching through rolls or collections. Another layer of value comes from errors and varieties beyond the basic copper versus zinc distinction. 1982 pennies are known to have doubled dies, off-center strikes, and transitional errors that increase their rarity and desirability. A transitional error occurs when a coin is struck with the wrong metal composition, and 1982 was the perfect year for such mistakes because of the changeover from copper to zinc. Coins that blur the line between these two eras are among the most coveted pieces in American coinage. Some have sold for staggering amounts, especially when authenticated by top grading agencies. The demand for 1982 pennies has only grown stronger with time. Collectors see them not only as a piece of history, but as a tangible symbol of a turning point in the U.S. Mint's practices. This was the year when the penny truly changed forever, shifting from a heavy, copper-based coin to a lighter, cheaper alternative. For many, the copper pennies represent the last true era of quality and cent production, while the zinc pennies mark the beginning of a new, more practical but less durable chapter. That symbolism adds emotional weight to the coin's value, making it a prized possession for anyone who appreciates the story behind the currency. It's also worth noting that the 1982 penny is one of the most commonly hoarded coins in America. Because copper cents are worth more in metal content than their face value, many collectors and investors have set aside bags and jars of pre-1982 and 1982 copper pennies in hopes that one day they could be legally melted down for profit. While current U.S. law prohibits melting pennies, the potential future value of copper keeps demand high, ensuring that 1982 copper cents will never be overlooked. What makes the story even more thrilling is the possibility that extremely rare varieties remain undiscovered. Millions of 1982 pennies were minted, and while most are ordinary, the small number of rare varieties means that anyone, anywhere, could stumble across a fortune in their loose change. Imagine the excitement of picking up a penny, weighing it, and realizing it's one of the elusive copper small dates that could bring life-changing money at auction. That dream is what keeps treasure hunters, roll searchers, and everyday people excited about a coin most people dismiss as worthless. So the next time you see a 1982 penny, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, check the date style, weigh the coin if you can. Examine it for unusual errors or pristine condition. What might seem like a single cent could actually be a valuable piece of history worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. The Lincoln 1982 penny is a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry extraordinary worth, and sometimes fortune hides in the most unexpected places, like the change in your pocket. Imagine holding in your hand a simple penny, the kind of coin you might overlook, toss into a jar, or drop without caring. Now imagine that same penny being worth thousands, even millions of dollars. That's the shocking reality for rare coins like the 1976 Lincoln cent, a coin that looks ordinary but hides stories of value, rarity, and history that could change someone's life. In the first few seconds of this video, you need to understand, coins you thought were worthless pocket change could be your ticket to unimaginable fortune. This is not just about copper and zinc. This is about opportunity, discovery, and the possibility that the smallest coin in your possession could hold the greatest reward. The 1976 Lincoln penny is part of a long and fascinating legacy that began in 1909, when the United States Mint first introduced the Lincoln cent to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By the mid-1970s, the penny had already become a household icon. Millions of people carried it daily, but what they didn't realize was that certain pennies, because of errors, variations, and conditions, would later transform into treasures worth far beyond 1 cent. Among those, the 1976 cent holds its place as a sleeper coin, one that hides among billions of others, waiting for the right eyes to discover it. The year 1976 was monumental for the United States. It marked the bicentennial, 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The Mint released special quarters, half dollars, and dollars with dual dates, 1776 to 1976, to celebrate. However, the Lincoln penny remained unchanged in design. It carried the same familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But because of the nation's celebratory spirit and massive coin production, collectors often overlook the penny from that year, dismissing it as common. That oversight is exactly what makes the hunt for rare 1976 cents so exciting. Hidden among billions are coins with errors, high grades, and striking differences that make them worth an extraordinary fortune. Collectors often seek coins in the highest conditions, known as mint state or proof. For the 1976 Lincoln penny, those graded at MS 67 or higher by professional grading services can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Why? Because coins in such pristine condition are nearly impossible to find. Most pennies from 1976 went straight into circulation, tossed into wallets, purses, and cash registers. They endured scratches, dings, and wear. To find one today that looks nearly perfect is like finding a time capsule from almost 50 years ago. These high-grade coins can easily command stunning prices, with some topping into 5-figure ranges depending on demand and rarity. But it's not just condition that makes the 1976 penny valuable. Errors are the true wildcards, the treasures that make collectors' hearts race. Imagine a penny struck, off-center with part of the design missing, or a double die where the date, lettering, or details of Lincoln's portrait appear doubled. Such mistakes often happened when dies were misaligned or reused improperly during the minting process. These error coins are one-of-a-kind accidents, never meant to exist, and that's what gives them immense value. A dramatic off-center strike or a bold doubled die from 1976 could turn an ordinary penny into a coin worth thousands of dollars. There are also variations in metal composition that fascinate collectors. In 1976, pennies were still being struck primarily in bronze, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gives them a heavier weight than the zinc-based pennies introduced later in 1982. Because copper prices have risen, these earlier cents carry intrinsic value just from their metal content, though melting coins for scrap is illegal. More importantly, certain transitional errors where the wrong metal plancher was used can create legendary rarities. Imagine finding a 1976 penny struck on a foreign coin plancher or a blank intended for another denomination. These off-metal errors are extremely rare but highly valuable. Every coin carries a story, and the 1976 penny story is deeply tied to America's bicentennial pride. Even though it wasn't given a special design like other denominations, the penny still represents a snapshot of that era. For collectors, it's not just about owning a piece of metal, it's about holding a fragment of history. The bicentennial spirit, the continuation of Lincoln's legacy, and the mistakes of the minting process all converge in this single cent. And when you realize that some examples have crossed the auction block for jaw-dropping prices, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Consider this. A penny you might dismiss as small change could carry a price tag worth more than a luxury car, a house, or even a life-changing fortune. Auction houses have seen rare Lincoln cents sell for tens of thousands, sometimes even more when the right collectors are bidding. The difference often comes down to the smallest details, whether the coin has full sharp lines in Lincoln's hair, whether the strike was clean, whether the luster remains untouched by human hands. These factors combine to create value beyond the wildest imagination. For the everyday person, the thought that a coin lying forgotten in a drawer, jar, or old collection could be worth a fortune is thrilling. It inspires treasure hunts across America as people sift through their change, revisit old piggy banks, or examine inherited collections. The 1976 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that reminds us the smallest discoveries can lead to the biggest surprises. If you're wondering how to check your 1976 penny, start by examining its condition. Look for sharp details, bright luster, and minimal wear. If you suspect it's special, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Pay close attention to possible errors. Doubled dates, off-center strikes, missing elements, or unusual coloration. Weigh the coin too. If it doesn't match the standard weight of 3.11 grams for copper cents of that era, you may have a rare off-metal strike. Each of these details could turn your coin from a single cent into a fortune. The 1976 Lincoln cent proves a powerful truth. Greatness often hides in plain sight. We walk past treasures daily, dismissing them as ordinary, when in reality they carry extraordinary potential. Every scratch, every shine, every imperfection tells a story. And for some of these coins, that story ends with wealth beyond belief. The next time you see a penny on the ground, don't walk past it. Pick it up. Examine it. It might just be the key to unlocking a hidden treasure worth millions. And before you forget, if this story about the 1976 penny has opened your eyes to the hidden wealth in everyday coins, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Because the next time you check your change, you might be holding history in your hand. A coin that looks worthless but carries a value beyond imagination. Don't underestimate the power of a penny.